guys seem to like drinking. We should probably head to that place you were talking about. The shady place or whatever it seemed like. Yeah? Can't recall what it's called.
Well, the Hardy Harlequin is someplace where we have a job.
That's the one.
So
Very well.
it's not open right now, but we did offer to help them with some sort of a situation there. So yes, I recommend that's what we do.
Well, yeah, thumbs up. Let's go drink.
Maybe.
I'm not sure we're going to be drinking, but you know.
So Rohal does recall that the aristocrat said that the Hardy Harlequin was located in the Malar's Throat district, which is located outside the walls of the city, which is fine. You can go in and out with a check of the guards. And you know that, based on your experiences in the city already, you tend to have somewhat of a lower class crowd outside of the city walls and a bit of a higher class and more well protected from the plague group inside the city walls. So that's what you know so far of it.
You look like you have quite a jolly appearance.
Tobin, how's the rot going? Have you been cured of that yet? Or are you still suffering from the rot? I say, standing well back from Tobin.
Dungeons and distances.
What does a great worm call a master monk?
I don't know what.
Fast food. Good to see you, Lorian.
Yes, it's fairly good to see you too, Tobin. Are you feeling better?
I'm feeling much better. Thank you so much. Cedric's advice helped out. Thankfully, a lot of our gnomish family here were able to concoct a little something for me, but it was not easy getting those ingredients, let me tell you.
No, it's really not. How did you get the giant's blood? I'm just curious.
I know a guy.
Ah, a guy. A guy is always very nice to know, yes.
Yeah, he knows a job.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, you should really check out the alchemist shop when you have time in the market ward. Merchant ward, sorry. Market ward is nowhere near as good as the merchant ward.
Oh, well, that's good to know. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Maybe they'll have some more of those funny brown fungi that we found at the monastery.
Who are these two guys?
Oh, I picked them up at a tavern, as I want to do. So this is a...
Oh, Lorian, you're a charmer, aren't you?
Well, sometimes, that's what I'm told.
I think so.
I was about to ask you, Archivist, if I was, but...
I'm gonna wink at Lorian.
I blush back at Archivist. Flutter my eyelashes just a little bit, and then turn back to, Tobin. So what brings you to this, place?
I was actually sent here to pick up a few things for the rest of the people on the ship. They kind of see me as their errand boy, but I'm just happy to be alive after all that.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely better than the dungeon that we found you in. I'll give it that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad to be here, even if our ship is grounded, and if there is a lockdown on the port. Can you believe there's even a ports for dirigibles, not just water ships?
That's pretty impressive. It's a nice little town, it is. Say, have you been to the Hardy Harlequin?
I heard about it, but it didn't look like it was open to me. You just go down the street and you can see for yourself.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Now, is there anything that we can do to help you? Since we're all stuck in this together for a while and probably going to travel together a little bit more.
Well, just know that you're still good for a ride, but I don't know how long this lockdown is going to last. King's orders.
Yes. Well, we'll just all do the best that we can. We're staying at the Baron Hen, that was what it's called, right? Down by the harbor. So if you or your compatriots need any help with anything, you come and find us there. You know, we do appreciate the rides. I know we saved your life and everything, but you know, some people are more decent about that sort of thing than others. So.
Well, you're all the greatest adventurers I know, so it's a pleasure traveling with you all. I'll see you soon.
All right, take good care. So the Hardy Harlequin, the Hardy Har, it's ahead.
It is. It is. Just make your way up there. I'm gonna switch my notes. Yes. 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 Yes.
Everyone, watch out for the shit water.
Don't get cholera.
You see a woman. You see a woman throwing some scraps to the dogs out front of the Hardy Harlequin, who seems to have its shutters closed out front. And it's raining a little bit now. It turned from flurries to some light drizzle.
Ah. Hello there. My name is Lorian. This is my group of compatriots. We're expected for a job helping with a little problem here at the Hardy Harlequin.
She asks, did you say your name is Lorian?
Yes, that's correct.
She looks to the left and to the right and says, come right in. Solomon is inside.
Right then. Let's go.
Solomon Hornsby is here. Let me give you a reminder. This is Solomon Hornsby.
He got that
Lorian.
strafey.
Welcome.
Looking guy.
Hello, sir.
Good to see
May
you
I-
again.
It's good to see you too. May I introduce you to my compatriots. Archimus, he who saved the Port Firth temple from nasty pink summoned crystals. And then we have Ulrich and Rohan, who have but recently come to join our group.
Heroes among us. Heroes among us. It is no coincidence that I've invited you all here today. I'm looking for adventurers, capable adventurers. Can I offer you anything? Boiled eggs and mushrooms with a tankard of cider, or dried whitefish and dried turnip with a tankard of cider? Or perhaps you would prefer the barley and biscuits and bitter cheese with a mug of mead?
Oh, that sounds good.
Wow.
And you, sir, Archimus.
Same as him, my companion. I'm gonna motion to my right.
Very well. Ulrich,
I'm
Rohan.
trying to remember what the food items were.
Well, we have the boiled eggs and mushrooms, tankard of cider. Josie here can help you with any of these orders. We have the dried whitefish with dried turnip, and we have the barley biscuits and bitter cheese with a mug of
sounds
mead.
Good.
Everyone likes the barley and biscuits, Josie. You hear that now, and you back there.
In real life.
Rohal.
I'll have a glass of water.
Glass
Thank
of
you.
water, very well. Let's have a seat. There's much
Ah,
to
thank you.
discuss.
Okay.
Josie, please warm up the biscuits and bring out the good cheese.
So you said this is one of the only taverns knocked out of business. Why this one out of all the other ones that still seem to be bustling with customers?
Well, the Lucky Squirrel has their influx of adventurers, and the Bear and Hen have their regulars. My tavern isn't necessarily here for business and for money, but it's here because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy having the people who are not quite adventurers for gold. I'm sure you came across some yourself. And we're not quite regulars. The people here are never quite comfortable. They are always searching for something more. They always want to search for something better. And although I must make no sense to you whatsoever, I'm sure I make all the sense in the world to each of you for who you are and what you've been through. I can see through each of you, and I know that each of you have seen a lot. I can't imagine the trials and tribulations you've been to stay alive and to be here right now. But I know that you're talented in the ways of adventuring. I know that you've seen things, and I don't mean to alarm you, but I have many eyes in the city, and I've seen certain things that intrigue me about you all. One being the crown in your pack, Lorian.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about my luscious buttocks, but yes, the crown. That got us searched rather thoroughly earlier today. So what's your interest in the crown?
It pains me to admit that I don't believe that that is a duplicate. It pains me to admit that I believe that that is Kilvar Fireforge's crown, the King of Gryhold, the king of a lineage of hundreds and hundreds of years here. It pains me to admit that I believe the guards are... He pauses for a moment, looks at the candlelight, and slows himself down, realizing that he's saying far too much, far too soon. He says, I digress. Please tell me, how has your time been in Gryhold? I don't want to burden you with all of these thoughts at once.
No. Let's back up a little bit. Gryhold's been lovely. We killed a mad wizard and a devil since we talked to you this morning. But so that was actually my suspicion as well, that it was not a duplicate. So wait, you think that perhaps the king is dead? And they're covering for that, or some of them don't even know. Is that what you were about to imply?
Lorien, I need you to tell me exactly what happened. What were the circumstances in which you found that crown?
We were in some very old ruins under a cultist compound. A compound for the cult of that which lurks beneath. Ganador. Ganador? God damn it. Is it Ganador?
Ganador, I know that deity which you speak of. The lost, forgotten one.
Yes. Yes. He's plotting to take over the world. He's plotting to remove the influence of all of the other gods and kill them if he can. He's in love with the Spider Queen, but other than that, he wants to destroy all of his competition. There was a room, actually there were a series of rooms with statues that were sort of trophies, bragging about killing, what was it, holy figures and leaders and the like, who were close to other deities.
I see, yes. The cultists of Ganadar, they take pride in sacrificing others for his cause. They take pride in sacrificing their own well-being for his cause. Some of them are very devout and can even shape-shift into the very oozes of which he has dominion over. He is a primordial. He has been around before any of the other gods, which makes him madder than any of the other gods. So you're telling me that they were behind the death of our king, and that is how you acquired that crown?
If he is indeed dead, we did find this crown on the body of a dwarf in very fine raiments who had just been sacrificed by the cultists.
So Solomon takes out a parchment and some charcoal and some oil sticks and begins scribbling profusely. And he says, yeah, go ahead, Artemis. Yeah.
Given the very sensitive topic here, can I check the windows to make sure no one's outside, just to
Sure.
make it feel like I do in case.
Now, are you doing that? Are you doing that from your seat, or are you gonna walk around a bit?
He'll just check these for when he'll spin around in his seat, check these two windows behind him, and then the two doors right.
All right. So I'd like you to make a perception roll. And so he was scribbling the whole time you were talking, and then he shows you this drawing and says, "Did the man look like this? Did the dwarf look like this?" So make an intelligence roll, Lorien. And Artemis was there too, if I'm not mistaken, so he can make it too if he chooses to.
I will. You'll peer over the table at it.
Foul was a hit.
So Lorien's been through a lot, and he kind of isn't certain, but Artemis is very certain that what he saw there, whether it be illusion or reality, was the same exact man, the same exact face, the same exact dwarf that was slain upon that sacrificial table.
I look at Artemis.
Arquebus is gonna not take the page, but grab the bottom of the page, get a better look at it. He wants to make sure that he's reading this right so he doesn't make a mistake, but eventually he's gonna lean back in his chair and nod that he does think that those line up quite similarly.
I gave
Brought the dead body back.
Solomon goes even deeper into thought, and as you look around Artemis before and after taking a look at the artistry, you see that the bottom windows are shuttered and the upper windows are open, but they're high enough that no one is actually peering in, and this appears to be the tallest building in the vicinity. There's some buildings that match its height, maybe a few blocks out, but no one is peering in, and the rain is starting to become heavier, which shrouds the window even more. Insight. You see that this man is deeply troubled by this information. You believe that he is being forthright about his concern. You believe that he's telling the truth about having eyes around the city that provide him with information. And what else are you trying to get insight on? Tell me.
How about the person behind us over by the bar? Is
She
she
seems to
listening in?
be
Is she interested? Not interested? Listening in on us, or kind of like
she can
minding her
hear
own business?
she can hear the conversation, but she's keeping to herself. She seems to be in her 40s, if you could guess, also a human, wearing an apron and tending to the food. She's preparing the food, and that's a legitimate concern, absolutely. But that's what you perceive. Which is absolutely close enough to hear it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, is that a door to the right of her?
Yes, that is a door here.
If I would make a guess, what would that be? Like, where would that go?
You're not quite sure. It could be anything from another room for eating. It could be a kitchen. It could be... You're not quite sure. But it appears to be a door to something that is interior, not an exterior door, because it is not as well sealed and crafted as, say, this door, and there's no water, like, coming through it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, just checking. The weapons on the wall there, are they? What do they look like? Are
Good
they?
question. Make an investigation roll if you want to take a closer look at them from where you're sitting.
Yeah. What
From
if
where
I
you're
walk,
sitting,
what if I take a stroll and walk up to them?
Sure, but let me tell you what you see first. What you see is a trident, a short sword, a scimitar, and a rapier. And they don't seem to be in any way ornate or interesting. You also see a shield there as well. And yeah,
There
you
are
can
two
get
shields
up.
and with
Yeah,
two
two
swords
shields.
up there.
Yeah, those
And
are
the
just
swords
short.
behind them.
Those are short swords. They don't appear to be
Okay.
in any way interesting.
I'm sorry, I just
Okay.
noticed there's a fucking
wanted to.
skull up there.
It is a skull.
Is that anything interesting?
It appears to just be sort of like something to provide conversation, like an ornament, something that could have easily been found at the base of the northern Dwalin Mountains. It's not from a mythological creature. It appears to be from just like a
not
ram.
human or anything like that.
It's most likely from a mountain goat or a ram.
Okay.
Yep. And it's not something that's
I'm just-
it's not something that's uncharacteristic to see in taverns. Sometimes you see an ornamental skull or something that provides conversation, like a sword on the wall, you know.
I'm just gonna stand over here and just take a look around. Just leave it
Definitely.
there.
Yeah. So Lorian, make an insight roll on Ulrich. Actually, I would like you to do that. Artemis, also make an insight roll on Ulrich.
Yes.
So, Lorraine, you just sort of see him soaking it all in. Artemis, with your insight rolls today, you see Ulrich show a micro expression when some of the cultists of that which lurks are brought up in conversation. A micro-expression of intrigue.
Well, if you really are that curious about any of that, I believe there was that one back at the old tavern we were at a few days ago. Was there not? I
That
gotta
one.
look over to Lorraine, because didn't we have that one girl that I think had her tongue cut out that wanted to join our party and
She was
Sandra
a
or something?
thief, not a cultist.
Okay, she wasn't a cultist. I thought she
No,
was.
she's a thief. She was part of the Silver Strands that robbed all my.
Oh,
the
damn,
ones that
okay.
jacked my shit.
The one that, yeah, took all your shit.
Yeah.
Solomon finally comes back to reality after coming to terms with this information that you've provided for him and says, "My greatest fear is to scare you all away with how much I know about each of you. I tend to watch those who pass in and out of the city often, so don't think that it is anything personal. I know that one of you conceals his identity. I know that one of you has the crown of the fallen king. I know you've obtained something of great power from that wizard, but I don't know what. And if you want to keep it to yourself, that's okay too. But I ask of you to help me get to the bottom of this strange occurrence in the city. There must be a usurper or usurpers in the city. The king has not been acting himself as of late. And I believe that this city lockdown is more than just a quarantining of the plague."
I
You know, it's very
intervene
interesting.
there,
Oh,
if I may. So we have encountered, you say, not behaving in a normal way, right? I am. Well, we encountered someone, a friend of these individuals. You probably know of him, considering you have all this information yourself. Greetings. I nod to the lady and continue by saying, "Do you know of any way that we could identify whether someone is under the influence of something or someone by chance?"
I don't have as many resources as a court wizard or even a wizard of your standing, Mr. Lorien, but what troubles you? Perhaps I can help in other ways.
Well, actually, when we were at the Belmar estate, we were tricked by a shapeshifter, a changeling. Who was
Doppelganger.
within a doppelganger, yes.
Which is a form of changeling, yeah.
Yes, a doppelganger that we thought was a little girl that we had rescued from slavery, but it turned out to be this doppelganger, and it locked us in a dungeon. We escaped, of course, but I wonder if we're seeing something similar here.
Wait, was the tiefling little girl a changeling?
Yep.
So
Yeah,
out of,
you weren't-
so
I
out of
guess you weren't
character,
careful that.
so out of character, I'm gonna update. So Callista Mayhem was indeed a tiefling girl who was a prisoner. However, there was determined to be by the party a switch. So when Kurdu Steelback escorted Beatrice and Callista to Gryhold, they indeed went with him, but the doppelganger was working for Merrick Rommel, the leader of the Silk Strands, who used that information to have the doppelganger appear to be Callista Mayhem and deceive you all to lock you in the dungeon and get information from you. So the girl did exist, and she was indeed who she was, but the doppelganger was pretending to be her at the Belmar estate. Just to clarify, out of character, because you weren't there for that.
Okay, so I didn't give my veil to some bitch. Got it.
Correct.
Importantly,
Yeah, it's the important part that it goes over.
So Solomon hears what you say, Lorian, and he says, and who did this doppelganger work for? What was this doppelganger's motivation?
Well, I'm not entirely certain, but there was a group of thieves called the Silk Strands. No, was it Silver Strands? I don't remember.
The Silk Strands.
Okay.
Ah, yes, I know what you speak of. They operate in Port Firth and a few other cities, but here it is the Red Coin that dominate the streets, and I do believe they have an accord. They do not tread on each other's territory.
Yes.
However, the Silk Strands did make their way in here not but 3 nights ago.
Yes.
2 to 3 nights ago.
Well, they had with their party a doppelganger. I don't know if the doppelganger was a part of their group or if it was part of the cultists, but they did have at least one with them. Don't know if that's the same thing that's happening here, but might be easier. Besides, Rohol, it couldn't be possession in the case of the king, since the king's corpse is lying on a slab at the bottom of a temple.
The Silk Strands don't have enough of a presence here to cause much mayhem with the royalty. In fact, they're probably trying to mind their manners with the Red Coin, who are quite powerful and populated here. Where the Silk Strands might have more influence elsewhere, they would not want to cross paths with the Red Coin here. The Red Coin have also been acting oddly. There's much to investigate here, and this is why I brought you all here today, where prying ears could not hear what you have to say or what I have to say. I believe you all to be very capable. I believe you all to be traveling with your ears and eyes ahead of you. You're alert. In order to make it through the northern Dwalin Mountains, as you have, you must have skills about you.
Well, there was a lot of screaming too, to be fair. So much screaming. But we did make it through, yes, that's true. I appreciate the compliment. And we are determined to make a difference in the world. So, what is it that you needed, sir?
I counted, let's see, there was the human monk, there was the brash drow, you of course, Lorian, who is trained in the ways of the arcane. You have your bodyguard, who is apparently waiting outside, very smart of him of course. The druid, who seems to be wandering off on his own. I'm not sure what that's about.
He was acting strange himself. Is the thing that Rohal mentioned earlier. He kept asking about an artifact and pretended to read something in a language that he should be able to read, but it was clear to me and to Rohal that he was not actually reading it.
And to me as well, given I speak that.
Oh, yes.
And Archimus, as I was about to congratulate you, I did collect information on you and your great achievement in Port Firth. What can you tell me of these crystals, and how were you able to do what you did?
It was simple. When it comes to removing them, I played music. That's all there was to it. Played music until it simmered, calmed down, went back in the ground. And that was the last we saw of those in the city in Port Firth, from what I know. We left soon after.
And what kind of music did you play to finally get the crystals to recede?
I just played what I always did. Typically, you know, some parts of an opening song. Played that on my viola that I don't have with me. I gave to someone, but give another one. I'm sure it'd work if push came to shove and we started re-emerging.
To be very forward with you all, Solomon goes back to Lorian's original question and says, I need you all to figure out who is pretending to be the king.
Oh.
Because there is a king, and he appears to be Kilvar Fireforge, who is deceased. The crown you hold is the real crown. We have conspirators in the city, and they are ruling each of the guards in each of the districts from above. The palace is centered in the center of the city. At that, Solomon takes out a map of the city and unravels it amongst the table here. And he points out the oval-shaped building to the north of the words Market Ward. And says that is the guards' barracks, and the path that leads to the bottom right of that, the circular dome there, is the royal palace. The palace is protected by strong magics. You have a prismatic wall around that. It's nearly impossible to penetrate by yourself. A prismatic wall is constantly surrounding it, day in and day out. The only way to penetrate those walls is a greater Dispel Magic scroll that you can find in the Great Library. And I can help you get away in there.
Oh, good. Yeah, that
Is-
poncy little fuck that was guarding the front really got on my nerves.
Yeah, we were trying to get in there earlier.
I understand you have a ranger in your party who's quite talented with a bow.
Yes, Nimlalwe. She's probably found some strippers somewhere at the moment, but if I can peel her off whatever tavern floor she's lying on currently and sober her up a bit, I'm sure she could do an excellent job.
Solomon points back to the guard's barrack to the top left of the palace and says, if you can get someone to charm one of the guards there, you might be able to learn their schedules, learn when there are court mages at the library, learn when there are court mages and guards at the palace. If you have somebody who can break into the library, you will need someone to dispel magic and to pick locks
Oh,
at night to infiltrate. But I must warn you, there's more in that library than just the Greater Dispel Magic Scroll. There are things in there that are dangerous. There are things in there that I truly believe are not meant for civilian eyes. So
I noticed something.
respect the magic in there while you're in there. Yes, Archimus, tell me.
Towards the top, past the gates, I saw, you know, how heat waves that would rise off the fire, but there was snowing, so I'm not sure. I'm versed in magic, but I didn't even know. I couldn't even tell you what that was.
Invisible stalkers. The court mages have them summoned in to serve them and to patrol the upper walls.
What should we? What do you know about them that could benefit us? So we don't go in completely blind.
Invisible stalkers they usually hold great disdain for their task at hand, but they do follow them obediently. They don't go above and beyond. They stick to what they're told and they do nothing more. So if they're told to patrol the walls, they'll do just that. But they are completely invisible. The fact that your tiefling eyes were able to see them is a testament to your good vision. They are not easily seen, regardless of the plane that they walk upon. But they do walk on the material plane. You see Solomon stop himself and really think about everything he's saying and realizes that just the words coming out of his mouth are a danger to himself. They are considered to be treasonous. If he were to be caught, and you all know this, if he were to be caught by the guards or the royalty even saying these things, they could be seen as complete treason to the city. But at the same time, you understand that he means well. And he says, I hope you all know that I am not telling you these things. I am not hiring you for these things to do harm, but instead to bring back the city to the people that it belongs to. The city belongs to the people, not to whoever has deceived us. These guards are doing what they believe is right. So you must promise me that in your investigations and whatever you do not harm the guards, because they truly believe that their orders are coming from the king himself, and they will not be convinced that they are doggedly loyal to him.
I
You must-
understand, and we will do our best.
What I'm about to say may disturb you, but this must stay in this room. When you discover who the usurpers are, and when you finally break down the enchantments on the palace, you must have your finest archer assassinate whoever is impersonating the king.
Will everyone be able to see that it's not really the king?
Is there any way you might, through your contacts, or know whom we might be able to talk to be able to be granted access to the library?
Solomon thinks over all of your questions and first says, my understanding of magic is that no matter how powerful the disguise is, once you slay he who is in disguise, the truth will be revealed. And to answer your question, Rohal, I may know a diplomat or two, but my thoughts were at night you infiltrate by sea. You scale the
understand.
side of the library. As long as you have someone that can pick a lock and can subdue the guards without harming them, you need to navigate the library. It is a maze. It's a maze of books. It's a maze of scrolls. It's a maze of cases filled with strange magic artifacts. But you need to find specifically the scroll of greater dispel magic in order to break down the prismatic wall. But there is a catch. The only person in the city who has this map is the Red Coin Thieves Guild. It is one of their many prized possessions in their guild. Now, I know there are several ways into the guild. They have a thieves' hideout in the Tikari Anchorage district of the city. And they also have a cellar entrance through the city. I'm sorry, through the sewers. Behind the wine rack in the Lucky Squirrel is a hidden cellar. And in the cellar, my eyes have told me that there is a way into the sewer system there. That's a longer, a more dangerous, and a more arduous route into the underground Thieves Guild. But entering through the above-grounds Thieves Guild headquarters is a more direct route, but maybe more brash and more bold.
Well, I can tell you I'm really sick of getting shit on my boots. I might just go for bold and brash. What do you all think?
I think that we should go through the Lucky Squirrel.
I was
think
gonna
that
suggest classic infiltration.
What do you want to spend 5 months working your way through the ranks?
All you need is the outfit. A good act.
Solomon looks you all over and says, regardless of the route you take, there will be many of them. Many of the thieves. Many of them. They are a prominent force in the city. But I do know that they operate mostly at night. During the day, you might be able to use certain techniques like subduing them, sleeping them, gassing their quarters, something of that nature. I don't know much about that, I admit. As much information as I have about the city, I don't know how the thieves operate. I don't know about poisons or gases or...
We could take the other path, since Lorian is the charmer, as we all know. One of the diplomats might be swayed, perhaps.
There was a bored
Persuadable.
diplomat at the tavern, but I wasn't really sure how far I was going to get with him, to be honest with you.
Solomon, if you would be able to pick one specific individual out, the diplomats that might grant us access to the library, Would you be inclined to do so? Because the one that is most likely to be able to be swayed by a individual in our company.
Let me handle the diplomat. You decide whether or not you want to enter the library from the sea, and if you want to steal the map of the Great Library from the sewer system or through the Thieves Guild.
Very well.
I would say both. If we work on
wanna
two fronts, I would very much prefer going in the way through the gates, especially since that dickhead in the front.
Oh, you want to do the strut? You want to strut by him? Shove it in his face. Well, what we're talking about right now is getting the map. We want the map, whether we get in through the official way or not. And getting the map involves dealing with the guild, not diplomats.
Solomon does say, if we're going to work together, you have to be forthright and tell me, what is it exactly that you acquired from that wizard in the tower?
Yeah, Archibald is gonna peer over because he doesn't know either.
Oh, what we acquired from the tower? Okay, I want to insight. I want to look at him and try to decide if I feel I can trust him.
19, excellent.
Likewise, because I have it.
Okay, I'll wait for your rolls.
Where is it? There it is.
Archibald already got an insight on him, so I think Archibald is pretty alright with him. I think Archibald's got an insight on. No, it's
I got one too.
drawing. That's
So,
okay.
Ulrich is not quite sure beyond what he has been saying. Lorien is very convinced that this man is indeed trying to make sure there's cohesion among the team, and that there's not something magical amongst them that could either ease their investigation or could be a danger to their mission. So he's really assessing what they've acquired, and you know that Solomon has been keeping an eye on people in the city, and this wizard must have been under his watch. Maladar has been a sketchy fucking wizard.
Yeah.
Big sketch.
So he's an etch-a-sketch wizard.
Is he truthful?
That's so good.
I decide to walk up to him and whisper in his ear, "It's the deck of many things. Do not repeat this."